Ho, ho, ho. Family, friends, and fans, thank you for being here today. In a tent on a New England beach in December. Just be glad there's no snow. We are gathered here today to celebrate the love between James Pugliato and Nicole Losada by joining them together in marriage. For those in attendance that don't know me, I am the Reverend Armand Sanez, courtesy of my friends at the Universal Life Church, as signified by this badge. I am a proud friend of our bride and groom and axe-throwing champion for the Friday night. Having defeated both of them on my quest to the crown. For the last 10 years, I have watched James and Nicole's relationship grow and flourish, both from near and afar. Together, they have made memories that will last a lifetime and have celebrated some truly historic events. Their relationship, however, has not always been flowers and roses. Folks, this relationship has seen its fair share of fighting. Taunting, pushing, shoving, elbowing, cross-checking, and even the occasional contact to the head. That's right. James and Nicole have devoutly watched and followed the Boston University Terriers men's ice hockey team.
BC sucks!
I met James and Nicole through the same unofficial yet very official organization that they themselves met in, the Duck Pound. Easy to find. The BU Duck Pound is the university's student section, supporting men's and women's sports with its most notable presence at men's hockey games. Known for its signature cheers and cheers, the large swath of students has always been led by a core group of rabid terrier fans, minus the ratings. I think. Many of these leaders over the years are in this room today. As students, we all had thankless jobs of getting to the arena hours before puck drop, preparing posters and signs. We lose our voices every weekend, taunting opposing teams, like telling the opposing goalie that his mother never loved him, or that the wheels on your house went round and round. On top of this, we would organize trips for every away game too, or the road trips and lodging that took this group cross country. It was on the return from one of these hockey trips to the University of Michigan in 2013 where our couple story really took off. But I will leave that to Jay to tell over dinner. James and Nicole are some of the most loyal BU fans I know, and I'm sure that those in the audience feel the same way. After all, why else would we all congregate here at 3 p.m. on a Sunday after BU swept Merrimack this weekend? Some couples I know plan their travel based on destinations that they want to go. These two plan travel based on where the schedule tells them to go. As a result, they have taken trips to some marquee destinations like Marquette, Michigan in the Upper Peninsula, Orono, Maine, and scenic Worcester, Massachusetts. For them, they have used the travel time and game time as default sources of seeing their friends and spending quality time together. They've also figured out how to cheat the system and have used their passion for the team to extend these trips to cover more activities, like hiking through all of Utah's national parks before heading to Arizona State, and driving on the wrong side of the road for the entire length of Ireland before catching the new compete in the Friendship Court out in Belfast. Next year, you'll find these two exploring Teddy Roosevelt National Park in North Dakota, before they will be greeted with insults and pelted with things by the worst fans in college hockey at the University of North Dakota. And I also know that these two are hoping that one day BU schedules games against Alaska to finally cross that state off the list. I'd like to share with you all my perspective on one of these recent trips. Last year, the Terriers took on the University of Michigan in a weekend series in Ann Arbor. Naturally, we were all there. While I was aware that this trip was sentimental to them, I didn't realize what I was in store for. The first night, we watched as BU got shellacked, 9-2, giving up the most goals we've ever seen in a single game. And I thought that would be the biggest surprise of the weekend. It wasn't. That Saturday night, between the games, our contingent decided to congregate at a fire pit in the parking lot of the hotel we were staying at. The Ann Arbor Red Roof Inn plus. Two pluses. A handful of intoxicated fellow hotel guests came and went that night as they tried to get warm. Later that evening, Nicole was ready to head back to her room to catch the end of a baseball game on TV, but James would not let her. I watched in confusion, then excitement, and then bewilderment as this man in front of us got down on one knee and pulled out a ring in the parking lot of a Red Roof Inn plus. Clearly, James knew what he was doing, as this act of love could not have happened at the Red Roof Inn plus several miles away. This is the type of romantic we've been dealing with, folks. At one point during the proposal, Nicole said out loud, "I can't believe you're doing this right here, right now." But I could. In my opinion, this relationship is not a flashy one, nor do they want it to be. They are authentic and genuine in the love they share for each other. They are silly, lighthearted, and are so happy to make the most ordinary events special. I say this knowing that after Nicole obviously said yes, they did not celebrate their engagement together. They returned to their respective boys and girls rooms. Nicole sleeping with two of her girlfriends, and James to a 2-bed hotel room housing 5 men. Again, romance alive and well. Speaking of romance, if it's one thing that Nicole loves more than James, it's not BU hockey. It's not aeronaut beer. It's Pirates of the Caribbean. Whether it's The Curse of the Black Pearl or any of the other movies, there's something about a bunch of greasy men on boats without access to shampoo or conditioner that she loves. James has respectfully tolerated Nicole's obsession that is complete with a tattoo on her body. He's also tried to show appreciation for Nicole's pirate affinity, or he's just been jealous of her crush on Jack Sparrow. I'm not sure. Maybe that's why last year James tried growing his hair out down to his shoulders for all of us to see and question. I'm not sure that Nicole tolerated this per se, but at least she educated him on proper conditioner etiquette. Just be grateful that Nicole did not ask to have this wedding on a pirate ship out there. Now, if it's one thing that James loves more than Nicole, it's not BU hockey, it's not craft beer. It's starting unwanted and unwarranted conversations with total strangers. Whether it's in an Uber, on a flight, or sitting at a bar, James loves nothing more than talking to unsuspecting people about nothing at all. On any of these hockey trips, we will all pile into an Uber, and after a few moments of silence, James will hit the driver with a, "So you know, we're not from here." And from this point on, Nicole turns on her own internal noise-canceling headphones as she watches the driver try and figure out what they possibly could have done to deserve this. The Uber app now has a feature where you can tell the driver quiet preferred or happy to chat. Regretfully, this feature does not yet exist for drivers to tell their passengers. Over the years, Nicole has learned to tolerate this, as it frees her from having to interact with people she likely would not have interacted with in the first place. We've often thrown around the expression, once a terrier, always a terrier. We say this about players, alumni, and also when James calls us asking for money. Be you giving money. You both know that this especially holds true for the dog pound. People come, people go, and some people just stick around. The chants, the tunes, the venues change. So do the players. And the coaches. What sticks though is the spirit, the tradition, and the love that we all share for the team. No matter what happens out on the ice, win or lose, the dog pound is always there for the team. I'd like you both to turn and take a look out at the audience now. Thank you. You two have been used to leading the charge and cheering the team on. Today is the big game, and you both are our own team. From today onward, we are all your dog pound, always ready to show our support, cheer you on, and follow along your life's adventures. I've also asked that this group of fans give their team a taste of their cheering abilities pretty soon. James and Nicole will now read the vows that they have written for one another.
Nicole. Our story really started in the backseat on a road trip out of the field. And in a decade or so since, we've traveled thousands of miles together. I promise to see the rest of the world. Or, as I told your grandparents the first time I met them, who's going to show me? You may have to drag me out of my comfort zone, perhaps away from the game sometimes. But you know there's no one else I'd rather be with, and no one else I'd rather be singing at the top of my lungs in the middle of the night to stay away from. I first knew that I loved you after meeting you right. So my promise to you is to always make time to be a part. When you hit a flop, I'll be there to get you off another episode of Lost, whatever rom-com you're watching, and using as a distraction. When the ideas are flowing, I'll be ready with another cup of tea, or maybe something a bit stronger. I will always be there to be your springboard, to be your editor, to be your motivator, and even your muse. I know that one day, folks will see what I first saw when I was reading your writing on my phone just to keep busy over a 2-mile daily hike back from writing from you way back then. I met your mother, Ellen, after we were dating for maybe a month or so. It's possible we're writing a mission together. But after that fateful day in Steve, she's become one of my best friends. And over the years, probably the person I text the most after you, David J. She'll always have a place to stay with us, a seat at the gate with us, and a set of hands to lug her mini bags up the stairs. You got the rest of your family, Sodus and Currys. They welcomed me at countless events. They've always made me feel like family. So I'm so excited to invite them to meet some of the Trivianos today. This is why I always promise to put family first. You know, whether they're Posadas, Trivianos, or chosen family. Whether it's Christmas Eve, Labor Day softball, St. Daniel's Day, birthdays, the wrong week for the beach. I promise to be there. I promise to be there. And if we can't be there, I keep promising. Pumpkin, you took a chance on me when I felt like I had nowhere else to go. I didn't know who I wanted to be, and I didn't know who I could go to. I still think about that subletted Angels place when you graduated from BU and how ridiculous that whole situation was. I lost some family and friends, back then, but I always had you. You were there. I spent countless nights in the hospital with my parents. You didn't complain once. I vowed that I would always be there. When you need me the most, I will be there. When it's easy, when it's fun. You made me want to be a better person. And I promise to spend the rest of my life learning.
I want to go second. I promised a lot of people and tried really hard to keep this as short as possible. But I'm a writer and a storyteller, and it's my wedding day, so we're going to do our best. So I begin with a brief anecdote. It was a cold, snowy night back in February of 2015, and BU had just won the Beanpot for the first time since we started going. We had all found ourselves at T's Pub. And it was kind of late. We were all standing in this quasi-circle in the middle of this dance floor, reminiscing about the season and everything. And I don't know if you remember this because we never talked about it again. But I don't know what prompted, but you grabbed my hand at one point and you kind of announced to the group, "I will marry this girl tomorrow." Like, we'll go to City Hall in the morning. I will marry this girl. And obviously you were just high on a bean coffee. I didn't take you seriously. But I remember thinking to myself at the time, which is insane, because I was the mess of a 22-year-old at that point, who never wanted to get married, who barely thought she could be alone. But, see, so, we obviously didn't get married then and there. Clearly never spoke to them again. But then, as you know, an interesting phenomenon began, where a string of really bad luck and traumatizing events just kept happening to us, one after the other for years. First, we lost my grandfather, the man who gave me my love of sports and following our teams across the country, which maybe not so coincidentally is what that means to do. We lost a national championship game in devastating fashion. We lost Anna Triviano. Our parents got sick, and got sick again. We lost your dad, which more than anything, I had thought was a little bit better. But I know he's watching us today, even if he's dual screening the Pats game. So that's fine. We lost a friend. We lost jobs. We lost Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals at home. On top of all that, BU kept losing the Beanpot. Through all this hardship and everything breaking and crumbling around us, we never moved. It's pretty amazing for a couple of kids who really just had no idea what they were doing in life, in a relationship at all. I'm sure there were hard days and hard months, but we always found our way back to each other and we stuck together. Now, I promise to stop talking about them because they are no wedding vows, because as you know, this story has a happy ending, in that we won the Beanpot again. And a couple other good things that have gone our way since. So I watch enough Love Is Blind for you, so that if I don't actually vow things during my vows, you'll be very happy. So here are my promises to you. I vow to be 20% less showboaty while watching Illustration. I vow to keep working on myself to be a better partner, even though you stuck with me for 10 years and asked me to marry you basically twice. I will always keep growing. I will keep working and communicating with you to be the best versions of ourselves together and with fun. I vow to never hold grudges or keep score in a relationship or to assume that you're keeping score. Unless, of course, we are playing a competitive game and I'm winning and I never lose anything. I vow to show you the world, to drive us wherever we want to go, to travel everywhere we possibly can as often as we possibly can. I vow to sometimes secretly and to myself kind of root for the Patriots just because I know it will make you happy. I vow to accept your love and cherish it, to be less individualistic and more open and vulnerable, to be more than your partner, to be your team. I vow to spend tens of thousands of dollars over the course of our lives to watch every single team we love lose the championship game. But most of all, I vow to love you, support you, stand by your side through every single thing this life throws our way, which we will keep always. So in conclusion, we made it. It's really loud being get married after 15 years. I want to keep walking over, but I'm more grateful to have grown with you and been beside me for every single wonderful thing and terrible thing that has happened since. And perhaps most importantly, I'm glad that 7 years later, much like the first time, in that we were surrounded by our crazy hockey friends, all drunk on various alcohols, as we celebrated the win of the Boston hockey team with H.A. Greer on it. You asked me again. I think we should actually go through it this time. Boy, have we ever seen this.
Go be you, down the aisle to wed anew. Jay, may we please have the rings? Don't mess this up. Nicole, do you take James to be your lawfully wedded husband? Do you promise to love and cherish him in good times and in bad, in sickness and in health, for richer for poorer, through the best victories, painful losses, for as long as you both shall live? James, do you take Nicole to be your lawfully wedded husband? Do you promise to love and cherish her in good times and in bad, in sickness and in health, for richer for poorer, through the best victories, painful losses, for as long as you both shall live? I do. Well, now, without further ado, by the power vested in me by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and omnipresent coach Jack Parker, I officially pronounce you husband and wife. Nicole, you may kiss your groom. A member of the bridal party has challenged that Nicole's foot was offside during the previous play. This play is under review. After further review, Nicole's foot did cross the line. We have a good marriage.